Hey, what's going on? Hey, it's Dr. Lisa. What is going on? I'm tapping in to see how everyone is doing. Let me see. I see they got these different apps and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and tinker with this while I talk and have some fun. I just wanted to come in and check on everybody, make sure everybody is good. It's a lot going on out here. Let me turn my fan off so you can hear me. It's a lot going on out here. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's doing good. Just want to come on and chat for a bit. Ain't been on in a while. Have not been on in a while. Let's see what this is. I have not been on. Oh, it looks weird. I have not been on in a while. Been busy. Have a lot of little speaking engagements that I've been preparing for. But it's crazy out here. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope if you work for the government that you are doing okay. I hope you are finding needed resources, and I hope your community is able to band together and everyone is doing okay as far as that. And if you don't have any community, I hope that you're looking for outlets that are available. I'm in Virginia. I know here in Virginia they have a lot of different things going on with food pantries and churches that are getting involved. I don't know. Do you guys have churches in your area that are getting involved? I'm in Richmond, so I don't really hear a lot about it here. It's military here, so more on the south side of the town. But it's quiet. I feel like a lot of people aren't really talking about this and talking about ways that they can help other people and how a community can band together. I feel there's not enough of that going on. I feel that there's not enough of people really reaching out and oh my God, that looks so crazy. Look, it's not enough of people reaching out, and I feel like everyone is kind of alone. I mean, if you're not on social media and just reaching out and just venting, via social media, there's not enough of outreach, I feel. Especially, or maybe it's just where I am. I feel that there's not enough of that. And I'm wondering how it is where you are. Do you feel that there's enough going on to help people that may be struggling at this time? I really like this zombie one because I feel like we're in a time of zombie. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this. I feel like there's a lot of this going on, a lot of fakeness, and nobody really helping anyone, and nobody really reaching out in the community to really reach back because there's a lot going on, especially when you look at the government shutdown. I hope your community is really banding together, and I hope that if you are a person of faith, that your churches are banding together and helping because we are technically in scary times. Hence why I'm playing with these filters. We are in scary times where people are not knowing where their next paycheck is coming from and they're feeling alone. And they're probably afraid to even reach out and say how they're truly feeling and really suffering in silence. Like I said, I'm in Virginia. I'm in Richmond, Virginia, to be specific. And I don't really see a lot or hear a lot from the community as far as how people can get help or reach out and get help. But I know I see a lot down in the Tidewater area, Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads area. Of course, they're going to be more vocal about that because that's a military town. But now that the military active duty is actually getting paid, it's not really an issue or something that's spoken about. But I think, outside of that, if you are struggling, do you know where you're supposed to go to get help? Have you actually really looked at that and seen what you should do? Sorry, I wasn't looking at the comments. I was playing with the filters. But say your name. Crumverward. I don't know. Crumverward? I don't know. But outside of that, it's important to reach out, even if you're on, even like how I'm coming on and asking how everyone's doing. Other than that, you can reach out within your community, and it's important to reach out into your community and not to suffer in silence. I know for me, I feel like I'm looking at different ways of how I'm relying heavily on government. Um, I put my daughter back in a homeschool. I felt like I had to do that because she is not getting what she needs. She's a senior and she's already finished her little college applications and stuff like that. But outside of that, the school wasn't really providing her with what she needed for her to be successful when she goes on to college. So I think we all just need to see and think about different ways of how we want to go about, how we're going about life. Are our needs being met? Go back to your roots. What do you truly believe? And if how you're living is that really aligned with how you are living? And if not, what changes do you need to make? That's down to even the type of job that you're doing, the friends that you have in your life, all of that type of stuff. It's important for you to know and understand where you are and realize that how you're showing up in the world is how it needs to align with what you truly feel like and believe in and where you are rooted in life. I feel like a lot of people are just walking down a path of just you know, fog and haze and, oh, I got to get this money, or I need to do this job, or this is what I have to do to survive. And we shouldn't really be focusing on that right now and trying to live like that, especially with the times that we are now where you truly need to stay within your moral compass and be where and be focused on and aligned with who you are as an individual. And I truly believe that. Hence why I'm more focusing on what really matters and how that aligns with my spirit and how I go about showing up in the world and not being focused on what other people say I should do or how people feel I should show up. And understanding the importance of saying no, and me saying no is what aligns with my spirit, and not being fearful to say no. A lot of people are afraid to tell people no. And I find that very strange that we live in a time where people are afraid to say no. Very true. Very true. I mean, it's just all about aligning with what aligns with your spirit and learning the importance of saying no. And no is your superpower. No determines how you show up and how people perceive you. If you're willing to just go along and go with the flow, even with things that don't align with you, people are going to look at you like a punk later on because they're going to be like, well, you obviously liked it because you did it. So now you can't show up and say that you don't, you know? How you show up determines how the world views you and perceives you. So if you're doing things that you don't feel right in your spirit, if you're doing things just because someone told you to do it or because you feel you had to survive and have a dollar, and then now it's something that you feel doesn't align with you, that's something you have to deal with and something that you need to check within yourself and with the other person because they might try to press you, right? And then you got to show up, and next thing you know, you fighting on the street because you feel like somebody's checked you and you feel like it doesn't align with who you are and all of that. So I think that's important. Just like with me, I do HR consulting and I don't really want to do that anymore. I feel like I'm better as a speaker, so I've been focusing on that and using my words on stage, and I find that that really aligns with my spirit and people like to hear me speak, and I'm going to keep doing that. And I feel that I can do more if I speak versus me going in and just training someone. Cuz you can train people and they walk away because training means nothing to a lot. And it's important to ensure that you're doing and creating change within the world. And if you're not creating change within the world, then what are we doing? What are we doing? If we're not creating change in the world, what are we doing? Like, I just saw a statistic. It said that almost 45% of people showed up to work and they were crying. Like, what are we doing in the world that people are crying at their desk? They're literally crying on the job. What kind of world are we living in where someone's crying on the job? That's insane. And I just don't understand why it has to be that way. Why are we as humans allowing it to be that way? Why is it okay for people to be mean to other people? Why is it okay to use people? Why is it okay to just disregard? Why are we okay with being treated like shit? Why are we okay? Why are we okay with disregarding other people? Why? I'm going to ask that question. Why are we accepting being disrespected? Why are people okay with being disrespected? That's the question. That's my question. All right. That's my question. That's my question. It's covering my face. That's my question. But that is my question. Why are people okay with being disrespected? I'm finding that people are okay with their bosses treating them like crap and then they complain about it. People are, I mean, even within the field I'm in, HR is okay with allowing people to get treated like shit. Like, I don't understand that. It's weird. It is weird. And I just don't understand. And that's the conflict that I've been having. Hence why I said I'm moving more towards speaking, because I feel like I need to speak on these topics. I feel like these topics need to be discussed. I feel like a lot of people just go with the flow within the workplace and just within society. And if I can have these conversations within the workplace, then these conversations can leak into society. Because I specifically saw a statistic that said that people look to companies to determine society views and likes. I was like, really? We're looking to corporations for that? But if we think about it, that's technically true. It's technically true, because it's like they're the ones that are doing the marketing and shifting society's idea of what we like and what we don't like, right? By selling us things, and we determine if we like or don't like them. And, they're the ones that are providing the jobs, they're the ones that are hiring, they're the ones doing all of these different things. So, in essence, I guess the statistic is correct. So, if that is correct, so that means we need to start with changing within the corporate world to be able to change within society as a whole. That's what it kind of seems like that would be. And we see that a lot, even when you look at different companies, like what Target is going through and McDonald's and all these businesses are going through, because people have their feelings about how these corporations make their decisions. So they start putting their money into that, taking their money from that, right? And we already know corporations understand that humans drive performance, humans drive business success, right? So if corporations understand that from a marketing aspect and from a selling aspect, and pouring all these things into us through advertising of what we should buy and not buy and telling us what's good or not good, then why can't we as people within our workspaces and within our jobs do the same with pulling out where we decide to work and where we decide not to work? And even if we do decide what to work with a company because we may feel that we have to have this job, because we need to survive, why can't we fight within to change how it's operating? Why can't we do that? Why can't we change how these businesses are operating? I saw a great TikTok, and it was talking about the history of rednecks and how we view them today is not what it was prior. It was basically how coal miners identified themselves by wearing a red scarf, hence the red neck, when they were going against the coal mining industry that was basically enslaving them. They weren't even really actually paid, honestly. They were paid, I think, with slat or slate or something like that. Mind you, I'm a descendant of coal miners out of West Virginia, so I understand the importance of advocacy, and which is why I never understood why, when you look at companies that are former coal mining or still coal mining, but not as much, environmental approaches to energy are now the number one. But outside of that, you look at how they're suffering. And I just never can understand that, because I'm a descendant of coal miners, and I know what it was like and watched how coal miners fought for their rights. They're the reason why we have unions now, the fighting for advocacy within the workplace. So it's just strange to me how we kind of have reverted back in time and no longer are advocating for what and how we should be treated, how we should be fairly paid, how we should be respected within the workplace. It's just strange to me how everything is reverting back and people are okay with that. People have just very quiet. I'm looking to see what the advocacy and the change is. Is anything going on? I don't notice it. I don't feel it. And I just feel like everyone's just become accustomed with being disrespected. Everyone's become accustomed with someone disrespecting others. Everyone's become accustomed with hate. Why are we still just in a time where hate has to just take over? It's just weird, it's strange, and it's dangerous. And I just feel like we all need to band together as just human beings, honestly, and look to create change from a positive aspect. Hence why I started this live speaking on how is everybody doing? Are you good? Are you good? Are you checking in on other people? Are you checking in on other people? Like I'm checking in, I'm tapping in right now. Are you tapping in with other people? Are they being open and honest about how they're feeling? Even if they're not, are you asking, are they truly being honest? And even if you don't tell me, I hope that you find a way to make yourself feel better. We're in heavy times. It's a lot of uncertainty going on. And I just feel like everyone's just trying to function through it. Just trying to make their way through it. So I just hope everyone's making their way through it in a positive way and not being afraid to ask for help, not suffering in silence, and looking for ways to make life better, not just for yourself but others. Our voice isn't but so big, but within the spaces that we're in, it's large. So, just something I thought I'd bring up. And I think let's see. And I think that's done. I'm done with my question. So I think I've answered that question, right? But outside of that, just be careful. Because you don't really know who you can trust right now, to be honest. I feel like we don't know who we can trust. I feel like everyone's just quiet and watching and waiting and not really sure where they fit in the society. So everyone's wearing a mask. So what you see is not necessarily what is true. So even people that are in spaces that you think are like, why are they over there? Why are they so hateful? They're probably over there because they feel that's the only way they can survive. So you don't really know what's real and what's not real. Because everyone's wearing a facade. Everyone's wearing a mask to fit in, to survive. And that's why I was saying earlier, that's why it's important for you to stay true to yourself. And, of course, be careful of how you show up. But not also morphing or conforming. Staying true to who you are and how you show up in the world. Also not being afraid to be who you are, and not backing down, but at the same time being cautious of that. I think that's important that I say that. Someone needs to hear that. Someone definitely needs to hear that. Someone definitely needs to recognize that that is important, especially with the times that we're at and the spaces that you go into. Who you think is on your side is not necessarily on your side. And I'm not picking a side. I'm just saying. So you don't know what side I'm on. I'm just saying, you have to be cognizant of how you show up. Be cognizant. Be true to yourself. But at the same time, don't be out there doing too much. Don't be out there thinking you got to show up so much and give it all away and tell everybody everything. Nobody needs to know anything. They don't need to know anything. All you need to do is survive, Do enough to survive, but not enough that you are out here not standing in your truth and walking away from your moral compass and not staying rooted to who you are. And that's definitely important. Staying rooted to who you are, that is what matters. That is what allows you to truly be successful. I'm tinkering with these buttons because I don't really come on here like that. Yep. Yeah. What is this button? Oh, I didn't know I could use that. Hey. Yes. But other than that, yeah, stay true to yourself and make sure that you're building a community around you of people that you know and feel that you truly can trust. I think that's the most important thing as we're moving into this weird, I don't even know what to call it, weird time and space of danger. I'm calling it danger because I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. It's a strange time we're in. Yep. But I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here. Like I said, I'm gonna keep trying to come on here and, you know, speak my truth. I'll go ahead and upload this live as well. But yeah, stay true to yourself. Don't be afraid to not, align within your spirit with how you move throughout this world, because it's turning into them or us, and whichever side you're on, you better stay over there because there's no takebacks. There's no takebacks. There is no takebacks because there's a lot of evil going on out there. Yeah, I'm reading the comments. I see you. Hey, how are you doing? I didn't ask you how you were doing. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. I hope you are doing well. I hope that you are not feeling any kind of sadness or fear. I hope you're feeling positive. I hope you are feeling very well. But I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I hope what I had to say is okay. A little. So why just a little? Why do you feel like you're not doing well all the way? What's going on? What's bothering you? Me personally, what's bothering me, I feel like I'm making a lot of changes in my life. Hence why I'm coming on and checking in and tapping in with everybody else. I'm making a lot of changes. A lot of changes. A lot of things are going on as far as things I was doing, not even like September, like I just said I put my daughter back in homeschool. So I felt I had to do that. Well, I'm glad that you feel amazing now. I'm glad that you feel amazing. I just feel like I'm